Well, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. So, did you make it back to the city, or are you still in Baltimore?
I'm back in the city.
Okay, yeah. So, how you been doing?
I've been good.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
How
Um,
about you?
doing pretty good. Doing pretty
That's
good.
good.
Yeah, I am. So I have to do a presentation on next week, and wanted to use our interview today as part of it. You can't, they won't be able to see you, they'll only be able to hear your voice. I wanted to know if that would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I want to go ahead and kind of pick up where we left off, last week, or was it last week, or was it 2 weeks ago?
I think it was last.
Yeah, good. Yeah. And I told you we wanted to kind of focus more on the PTSD side, you know, just kind of start working on some interventions to really kind of help you work through that. But I want to just kind of go back and talk about you know how you've been feeling. But you know how we always do. So let's go ahead and open up in a word of prayer.
Okay.
You want to open up, or you want me to open up?
You can open up.
Okay. All right. Most gracious Father, we want to just say thank you, Father God, for giving us an opportunity to come together. God, I just pray right now that you will be with us in our session. I pray that you will continue to watch over us and um, keep us in the palm of your hands, Lord. You know the things that we need most, and we ask that you give us the desires of our hearts, Lord. Go down deep into the recesses of our hearts, Lord, and touch us there. And we pray that we find favor in your heart and in your mind, Lord. It's in the matchless name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So I purposely did not mention your name for the sake of this the for the recording that we're doing today. Okay, just so you know.
Oh,
All right. Um, so let's talk about how did your past week go?
it was real good. I got a lot of enlightenment and empowerment.
Oh, really? Okay. Tell me what
Hmm.
when you talk about enlightenment, empowerment. Um, you were down in Baltimore, and what took you to Baltimore?
It was like another spiritual retreat and like a spiritual conference. So I had went out there and at the same time, it was just like a lot of information being thrown out, and like it felt like I just got a lot of wisdom and knowledge and just better understanding of just like walking with God and having authority and power. So that kind of made me feel a lot better. Just hearing those words and hearing how God operates and just looking forward to better things in the future.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Um, we talked about specifically. Let's talk about how you've been managing your moments of of sadness, and how has that gone over the past couple of weeks?
Um, Sometimes I do just start crying, just cry, and then it's like I don't know, out of nowhere, I just get the strength to just get up and try to keep going.
Yeah. So where do you believe that strength is actually coming from?
It got to be coming from
Hmm.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's go. So yeah, that's good because that seems to be one of your primary um, coping mechanisms. To be able to get you through. And as we talked, I just admire your resiliency, and how you just you keep You just don't allow things to hold you back. Um,
Yeah.
so
Thank
um,
you.
there's been a few things that we talked about at our last session. We talked about um, that you wanted to three things that you wanted to change. All right, that's what
Mhm.
we talked about. You said that you wanted to focus on your, exercising. That's what you said. You also said that you wanted to focus more on eating healthy, and then that you also wanted to work with being better with spending time with your kids. So let's just kind of talk about each one of those things and how did that go for you last week?
Well, it was a struggle because it was like I was trying to find the time and like the space to do everything, but it was like I couldn't get it all in like how I wanted to. So it would be like maybe I'll do it one day and then the next day I wouldn't be able to fit all three in, but I would at least be able to, be around the kids and spend time with them. And I might not get the opportunity to work out that day, so I might just work out the next day. So just trying to find a balance.
Yeah, yeah. So overall, how do you feel? This new, focus is actually helping you.
I think it's helped a lot. It's keeping me with the mindset of like, I gotta be healthy. I need to be productive. I need to get organized so I can get these fit these things in a day. Cause it's like I know it's possible, but it's like I need to eliminate all the distractions so that I can get everything done.
Yeah, yeah. So just kind of looking at where you are now, um, how would you compare where you are now on a scale to 1 to 10? One being, you know, not good, and 10 being, the best. How would you rate your? Okay, let's talk about when you first came in, when we first started talking. How would you have rated yourself? Where were you at on that scale from 1 to 10?
Probably like
Probably like what?
at a one.
At a one. Okay. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
when we first started, you feel that you were. Why do you say you were at a one? Let's talk a little bit about being at that one. What did that one look like?
Just being like hopeless, like ready to give up, not really seeing no hope, like no future, not really seeing no change, like wanting to change, but just not having, no faith in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? Let's talk about where are you now? Where do you feel that you're now on that scale from 1 to 10?
Probably like a 5 or a 6.
Okay. Okay. So about 5 or 6. So it looks like we're making some progress, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So with that being said, I know there are some things that we said we wanted to work on, um, and we're going to do that. What do you attribute your um, the progress that you've made? What do you attribute it to?
I would say definitely counseling and just opening up the Bible and really like reading and trying to get an understanding of God and like my purpose and who I am.
Hmm. Yeah. And what do you believe that purpose is now?
Well, like, all that pain and hurt and everything that I went through, maybe it's, for me to be able to help somebody else and, bring them to the light, somebody who probably going through the same things as me.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned you still have moments of sadness where you cry. I remember, I think it was a couple weeks ago when we actually started talking. You literally started you literally started crying.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was when you started crying? What was it that made you start crying?
emotions that I have to carry around and like push aside because it's like I got so much to do, so much to get done. It's like I can't really dwell in my feelings, so I try to push them back or hold them back and like not really think about it. But it's like I guess I can only do that for so long without it just coming out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you have you've gone through a lot. I mean, you literally have been dealing with trauma on an ongoing basis ever since what you were 12 years old. Is that what you told me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So I know there's some things that that you were dealing with um, lately with with these relationships. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I know that was probably one of your triggers. Um, the How are things going with you and Darius?
Well, it's like every time I try to push him away or just keep him out of my life, I feel like he's like trying to hold on and pull me, like constantly trying to pull me. And it's like, I'm starting to figure it out. Like, maybe he's just trying to use me, like ride my coattails to the top of something. I don't know. Because, like, after all the hurt and pain and everything that's happened, like, why are you still trying to pull me and keep coming for me?
Right, exactly. So I think one of the things that we talked about in your treatment plan was to how are we going to help you, make even better decisions when it comes to your close relationships, your intimate partner type relationships, and um, so when was the I know when I talked to you last time you had not talked to him. um,
Mm-mm.
so have you talked to him since we've talked?
Yeah, he called me yesterday
Okay.
and he just, he tried to make it seem like he still love me and want to marry me and stuff like that. But I just feel like it's all lies. And I'm like, I don't. It's just overwhelming how people just want to play with your mind and your emotions for no reason or just to use you.
Yeah. So how did you manage that phone call?
I kind of just told him, like I just don't feel the same, and I don't think that it's gonna work. So we need to just depart ways.
Yeah, yeah. And how did he respond to your when you told him that?
He was mad, and he's probably not happy or okay with it, but I just ended the call.
Good, good, good. And how do you feel not knowing that you did not? Well, let me just ask that question. How did that make you feel? The way you responded.
I guess good because it's like I know this is something that's really bad for me, and it's not good for me at all. It's not healthy at all. And it's like if I go back down that road, I know it's gonna make me even more damaged and hurt. And it's like I didn't already fall so hard to try to heal to get to this point, and I don't want to be, getting re-hurt and having to re-heal.
Yeah. So it sounds like have you're making some progress in that particular area because I know before that would have been kind of a hard decision, for you to make.
It was.
Yeah. Well, I want to commend you on that. That's great. So seems like we're making some progress.
Mm-hmm. Thank God.
Thank God. Okay. All right. So that was one thing. Yeah, we wanted to definitely work on those what we consider to be volatile type of abusive relationships. So it looks like we're making some headway in that area. Um,
Yeah.
with regards to um, the, we talked a little bit about the your main what did we say your main cope one of your main other coping mechanisms was when you get really stressed. What did we say it was?
Me smoking.
Yep, smoking. So how are we doing with your smoking?
Um, it's like I can control it. Like, it's like I don't like feel like I need it all the time, but it's like I'm still like doing it like every now and then, like maybe once a day. But I really just been praying, like because I know God can deliver me from it. So I just been trying to keep praying.
Yeah, yeah. So, w- under what circumstances do you feel that you have to smoke?
Um, I think it's really just when I get in my feelings, like how my little brother, his birthday is coming up March 11th. And I keep thinking about it, like, like he's supposed to be here with me. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. So a lot of thoughts just go through my head. And then it starts to get overwhelming. And it's like, okay, I need to go to another place now. Like, I need to get out of this feeling.
Yeah,
And that's when it's like, okay, now I need to smoke, you know?
yeah. So basically, what I hear you saying is that, you're pretty good for the most part, but then you start to get these, certain memories start to come up, and it becomes overwhelming for you, and it's at that point where you feel that you have to smoke to kind of get rid of those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So besides thinking about your brother, what other thoughts are the ones that are kind of like prominent thoughts that you think a lot about?
Um, just keeping everything above, like keeping everything going, like just maintaining, like having the kids, doing it all by myself, keeping the bills and everything afloat, like just keeping everything going.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what I hear you saying is that another level or things that cause you stress in your life right now are just the daily activities of just helping you, just raising your kids. um, you know um, you have 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And the pressures of getting them together every day, getting them to school, you know um, so yeah. So let me just tell me a little bit. What does that feel like for you?
Um, it's like it varies because like some days it's like good, happy feelings, happy thoughts. Just seeing them, being around them, seeing them, and a lot of like traits of mine that they got. But then other days it's like overwhelming because I'm by myself and it's just me and it's all of them. And each one of them might be calling me and pulling at me, and it could be overwhelming. But I just thank God that I do have my grandmother and family who I can call on to come help.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. So, um, with regards to that, where do you see your your strength coming from in order to be able to, to help you, you deal with that?
Really family and God.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like God is your main go-to,
The center, like the energy source.
the center and energy source. Well, that's good. That's good. Um,
mm,
so, um, what else? You were where would you like to see the our counseling going moving forward? I always like to recap and make sure that we're on point. So
mhm.
we talked about these goals that you set. So um, where would you like to go moving forward?
I think that we just on a really great a really great we at a really great place right now, and I think that we just need to keep working on coping mechanisms, and just me being able to like strategize and like put my thoughts in, their own compartment and not just be thinking so much, like everything so far has really helped a lot. So I think just, continuing on and just seeing what the future holds.
Okay. Well, great. Now one of the things that we talked about was I think self monitoring and just like kind of journaling. Um, how are you doing with that?
I've been doing it. It helps a
Okay.
lot, just to be able to go back and read and see how far you came.
Yeah. So tell me, what have you noticed, um, you know, as you journal?
Um, like every day is different. It's new, like it's a new adventure. Like you might learn something new this day, or you might find peace this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What kind of uh, things have you actually learned, from your journaling?
That I am very strong. I am very resilient. Like I have went through a lot of things that some people would have like really failed and crumbled. Or like I have a friend who like committed suicide. So like it just lets me know, like, man, like if I can get this far, then who knows how far I can really, really get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I think you've been doing, really well with regards to how you've been managing the events. Your brother. What about? Are there any other things that you think about um, a lot other than your brother and your day to day of activities that adds make you feel really sad?
Um, my childhood, but I always try not to go there, because
Yeah.
it's like when I think about it, it's like I know that no child should have had to go through that and endure that or anything like that, and like my family sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, you made that decision, that was your fault, and they'll try to make me feel like it was all on me, but I know better, so I just try not to like even go there, because if I go there, it's like sometimes I get stuck and it's hard for me to come out.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I noticed that maybe it was a couple of weeks ago when we actually kind of went down that road, and you seem to have you got real sad, you know,
Mm-hmm.
about it, and you know, want to find out, is there something in you that you think that you still need to kind of talk through to get it out, or how do you want to deal with those past traumas that that you have?
I don't know. Like maybe talking about it and crying, maybe that might help. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. um well, i want to I want to do what's best for you. Okay. I
Yeah.
want to um work on what you want to work on, what's going to make you feel strength, so right now it seems like continuously you know working on your relationship with God seems to be very effective. Obviously now we've talked about a routine that you're going to begin to start, implementing in your life. So I think us, sticking to that will also help. Is there some other things that you would like to do that you think would be very helpful in us helping to um, meet your what we call therapeutic goals?
Um, I think just really focusing on me being whole, and me learning how to be the best parent that I can possibly be.
Yeah.
Those are are the main two things to me that matters the most.
Yeah, you've that has been something consistently you've always talked about is being whole. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you talk about being whole, what do you mean by that exactly?
I think just being mentally, physically, emotionally just stable. Just saying, just able to just be at one level and not, constantly going up and down.
Yeah, yeah. So the what do in your estimation, what do you feel is the thing that is holding you back the most right now?
Um, Maybe just like my emotions,
Hmm.
just my feelings, trying to control my feelings and my emotions, because like you said, if I start to think about the past, then I'll start feeling some type of way. So it's like I constantly got to keep my eyes on the future. So I'm not thinking about the past.
Do you feel that not talking about the past may be creating more of a problem? Because let me say this. What Because we know that the way that you're dealing with your past is, you smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, are we really, really dealing with the past, or are we just avoiding it? What do you think?
Maybe I am avoiding it. That's why I just smoke. So like I don't have to talk about it.
Right, right, exactly. So I think we have two things going on here. First of all, we got the trauma the that you've experienced in your past that's kind of like laying there, kind of like it's dormant. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And it rears its ugly head, and the way that you deal with it is you smoke. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I would like, because we talked also about perhaps looking at some other options so that we could start dealing with the the smoking as well, and we talked about looking at maybe NA, Narcotics Anonymous group or something like that, so you could begin to start working on that. Um, because you did say that that's something that you wanted to work on as well, right?
Yeah, that
Do you like that idea?
Yeah, that might be something that'll be beneficial, because if I've been smoking since I was 12 years old, like that's 12 years. Like I really want to stop. Like I want this to not be a part of my life no more because I see how it's really held me back and like kept me from really being who I could possibly really be, like my reach my full potential.
Right, right. So that's one of the things we're going to work on, you know. But then there's some other exercises that we can do, together,
Mm.
that will kind of help you, rethink, of who you want to be, and to kind of go after it. Uh, so I have a couple of exercises I want to go over with you, and give me 2 minutes. So I'm going to grab something, okay?
Okay.
Well, not 2 minutes. About Give me a few seconds. I got it right
Okay.
here. Yeah. So one of the things that I believe needs to happen, one of the things that you and I always talk about is who's the most important person,
Me.
right? Exactly. You're the most important person, obviously. And so there's a couple of things that I really want to work on. And one of these things is called a compassion exercise, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where you begin to, look at yourself and continue to have, compassion on you. And when you're, dealing with those thoughts, that are just kind of um, just become overwhelming, you know, I want to look at another way that we could possibly look at that. So bear with me. I'm gonna read it, okay?
Okay.
All right, and then if you have any questions, I want you to we'll talk about it, but understand the concept behind it, okay?
Okay.
And it says an important way of compassionately engaging with different and problematic parts of the self is in imagery, okay? When clients have practiced this a little, they can learn to focus their compassionate self. So we know that you have a compassionate self. We know that. So what we're talking about now is how do we engage that compassionate self to help you with your anxieties and your depression, okay? It
Mhm.
says, suppose you are very anxious about something. It tells you to sit quietly and engage in your breathing. And then imagine yourself as a compassionate person. So, in other words, we just want you to just sit there and, you know, think about being compassionate. All right. Um,
Mhm.
it says, when you feel that expanding and growing inside you, then imagine you can see your anxious self in front of you. All right. So, in other words,
Mhm.
you kind of imagining yourself and you see this person that's real anxious, really upset, you know, and you want to back away and kind of take a deep breath and think about that person. In other words, you want to start having compassion on that person that's real anxious. So you're separating yourself from it, okay?
Okay.
Um, it says, look at her face, her expressions. So I want you to, what you want to notice is what kind of expression is on your face, you know, as you go through this anxiety. What are you looking like? Okay. Note the feelings that are rushing through them, you know, and then just sit and feel the compassion. So you want to sit there, not do anything, but just try to just feel compassion for yourself as you go through those those moments, that anxiety, that stress, whatever is going through you at that time. And then you want to project or send compassionate feelings out to that anxious self. So are you following me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So try to surround yourself. Try to surround the anxious self in compassion and understanding of the torment and anxiety. So in other words, you're separating yourself from what you're going through. All right? And it
Okay.
says, and for now, you are trying to do anything other than experience compassion and acceptance for your anxiety. Okay? Imagine giving as much compassion and understanding as that anxious part needs. And you want to imagine what happens to that anxious part when when it actually has all the understanding and support it needs. Okay? What do you think about that?
Um, I think that's a real good exercise. A really good exercise. I think that'll help me a lot.
Okay. Why? Tell me why do you think that will help you a lot?
I think just being able to like how you said, step out of my anxiety and kind of like have more compassion for myself and just, look at myself like, just try to be more understanding with myself and not be so hard on myself.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Good. All right. So that's one exercise. Right. I got another one for you. All right.
Okay.
So this one is called Design Yourself a Beautiful Day exercise. All right. Design your design yourself a beautiful day. So this
Okay.
exercise, it says next Saturday, set a day aside and design yourself a beautiful day. So you're gonna think of a beautiful day for you, okay? Plan the enjoyable things which you will be doing that day. So in other words, you're going to plan out a day just for you, and you're going to make it an enjoyable day where you will be and with whom you will be. All right? So that may be with your kids, that may be with a friend, but you're going to plan this out, okay? It says design the beautiful day or even a beautiful half day in a way that uses your personal strengths and talents. Now, I remember us having a session and you talked about some of your personal strengths. And I know one of them was, well, let's talk about what do you feel that some of your personal strengths are?
Um, like how you said, just being resilient. You know, like a lot of people don't have that. You know, I've noticed that, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing how I can really like, you know, fight through anything. It's like I do not allow it to keep me back. So I think that's a blessing, a real gift.
Right. But as far as designing this particular day, what kind of things do you feel? What kind of talents do you think that you would want to have on that particular day to make it an enjoyable day for you? I know one of the things you talked about was singing. Some other things. What other things do you like? Do you really like?
Um,
Enjoy?
yeah, music. I really love music. Like I think just listening to the music and maybe just like meditating, just so I like to just lay back and look up, you know, like at the sky or just, you know, listen to the water, you know, just meditate and get in tune with God. Like that really helps me a lot in music.
Okay. So that might be something that you may consider to do on that beautiful day. That will
Mm,
it will encompass, you know, some music, some meditation, things of that nature. Okay.
mm, mm.
Um, it says if, for example, one of your main strengths is your curiosity and love of learning, your day may include a trip to the museum or simply reading a book that you have been meaning to read. When your beautiful day arrives, employ your savoring and mindfulness skills to enhance these pleasures. Okay? So how does that one sound for you?
Good.
You like that? Good.
Mhm.
Well, these are a couple of exercises that you know I would like to try. Let's when you journal next week, let's also include how those exercises went for you. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so, is there anything else that you want to kind of talk about this week?
Um, I think just about, you know, how like we was talking about how you got to be careful with like people wanting to use you and just, you know, coming to me to like just want to take advantage of me, you know, because I still feel like I'm in the middle. Like a lot of people are coming to me, some come to me for prayer, you know, and encouragement, and then it's like others are coming to me like they want to take what I got or like, you know, take my gift or something. So I guess just continuing to like walk with God and try to gain a better understanding of who's really for me and who's against me is kind of like where I've been at too.
Yeah. So that goes back into uh, working towards making a better, relationship choices as well, right? How do we,
Mm,
in other words, how do we identify someone who is, you know, who has our best interests at heart and someone who doesn't? Have you
right.
have you identified some of those qualities in that individual? Have you thought about that?
Yeah. I'm realizing now, like, I only really want to be like, you know, in tune with people who's praying, you know, and like positive, productive people, not people who like who I have to like help or who need me in a way. Like I'm starting to see the difference.
Yeah. So people who are literally taking from you all of the time and not giving anything back, right?
Right.
So one of the things that I hear you saying is that one of the ways you're going to begin to evaluate, people, or let's say a healthy relationship would be a person that is able to contribute something to the relationship.
Hmm.
Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So over this past week, you know, has that been an issue for you? I think you did mention that Darius called you.
Right.
Was there anyone else outside of Darius?
Yeah, like my kid's dad, he normally don't call at all. But like it's tax season and all of a sudden, you wanna call and it's just like kind of overwhelming, like it just go back to like what we said, just having discernment to know like, hey, are you really here for me? Or, you just trying to use me. And it's just kind of sad, how people just really be trying to use you. So it's like you really just have to have discernment to know the difference.
Yeah.
And not really let, things that people do bother you in a way.
Well, let's look at this. Why do you think that happens to you?
That's what I've been trying to figure out. Like, why is all this going on with me? Like, how we already talked about, it's bad enough that I've been going through stuff, since I was 12 up until now, and then it's still going on.
Right. Right. But have you thought about why it might be happening to you?
Mhm.
Why? Why do you think it might be happening?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm really not sure.
Okay. Well, let's start. Let's kind of look at that. Let's start at least trying to, what are some of the things that they are going after? Let's look at that. What are they coming to you for? Let's talk specifically your intimate people that you used to be intimate with. Is it financial? Is it sex? What is it?
Yeah, definitely financial. Pretending like it's love. And it's really not. Just lies and deception.
Yeah, lies and deception. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like we got some things that we got to work on in terms
Yeah.
of how to manage those expectations. Um,
Mm.
what would be two things that you would like to really work on to help you manage your expectations of healthy relationships?
I guess just really learning the definition of a healthy relationship completely.
Hmm. How, if you had to give a definition right now, what would that definition be?
Somebody who can help make you better
Okay.
and make you whole.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. So do we know that if somebody is just out for themselves or perhaps um, don't have your best interests at heart, that might be somebody we may not want to, be around a lot, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. We'll